Welcome to episode 11 of Aaron Plays Through Nemesis, Burma 1944, game designed by Kim Ganger through Legion Wargames. So the last chit drawn was the Allied reinforcements chit, so we'll go through their reinforcements for turn 2. However, before I do that, there's one little error that I need to correct. Well, I say little error. Last turn's reinforcements, the Allies placed a Chindit unit in the off-map airfield, okay, which is shown here. And that is brought onto the map during the attack chit, which I've already played. But I'm going to bring that in. That can be brought in at any airfield. And there are 2 under Allied control. So I'm going to bring one in here. There's no Japanese, or hasn't been attacked, or doesn't change the game status. So yeah, okay. Okay, so the first part of the Allied reinforcement phase is their replacements. So the Allies got choices here. I may return 2 British from the Allied losses box, or I can use some of their, what's the word they use? Specific word, resources, to actually bolster some of the units on the map. So the choice I've got: the Allied player may return 2 British or Stillwell units from Allied losses box and place them full strength in the Allied off-map box. So that's effectively moving them from here to here. There's already enough guys there. Or the Allied player may return to us as a support turn. This is turn 2. A single support unit instead of the normal unit, so they could move this armoured unit here into there. So that's up to 2 units. And instead of moving one of those from the losses box, the Allied player may deduct 1 resource and flip up to 2 Allied units, any mix of British and Stillwell units into full strength. Okay, so let's move 1, and I will take the armour, as it's a support turn, and there aren't that many support turns. I'll put that in the Allied reinforcement box. And I will spend a resource, taking the resources from 3 to 2, and flip 2 Allied units on the map, which will be okay. I just flip this one back to full strength, one in here, and I'll flip one of those up to full strength. Okay, so that costs a resource. Then the reinforcements. The Allies are getting quite a few reinforcements again this turn. Let me put those on the map. You can see there's quite a few units here. So, yeah, I'm going to put all those in. They all go into the Allied off-map box, which is getting quite full now. So, now any Yunnan forces, which is the Chinese, he's got a green star. What's a green star mean? Okay, the green star still means he's part of the Yunnan force, part of the Stilwell force, so he can't be brought directly onto the map as yet. If it was a Yunnan force, they could go straight to the Chinese. Then, I can deduct 1 resource point for each unit that is moved from the off-map box to the map or to the off-map airfield. So, effectively, my reinforcements have been coming in at the rate that I'm getting. Well, I say my reinforcement, I'm playing both sides. The British reinforcement, or the Allied reinforcement, is dependent on these resource points, and the Allies get resource points from losing territory and losing units. So they get 1 or 2 at the end of each turn as well, but not many. Again, it all depends on how well the Japanese are doing, because the Japanese are doing really well compared to Churchill. They get more reinforcements. So that's an interesting little mix. The Japanese reinforcements seem to be coming on a schedule, and that's it. But the Allied one is dependent on how well the Japanese are doing. So again, that feeling of that the Allies didn't really want to commit heavy resources into this, but they didn't want to lose the campaign either. Interesting. I had to read a couple of times the section on reinforcements about deducting resource points, because I couldn't get my head around about the extra sentence. You may move 2 units if you refrain from rolling the replenishment die. But that's referring to putting units into the off-map airfield. So, bringing in the British units, I can, with 2, the Allied units, I've got 2 replenishment points. So I will, I'll keep saying replenishment, it's not replenishment. Specific word, resources. I've got 2 Allied resources. I will use those 2 resources to move 1 unit into the off-map airfield ready for next turn, and I will bring 1 British unit in at the reinforcement hex. So we've now got, again, 1 unit in the airfield ready for next turn's attack chit, because we've had this turn's attack chit, and we've now got 3 units sitting here waiting effectively the Allied assault ship where they can actually move to their full move potential. So that's the stage 3 of the Allied reinforcement. Stage 4, they don't need to replenish Impala because the supply route is still intact. And rail movement, well, Allied rail movement is so limited that they only have about 5 hexes, again in the top corner over here. So I could move these guys by rail into Dimpur, which I suppose I might as well. It's 1 less hex they have to move into. So I'll move 2 of them into Dimpur, and I'll leave the other one just there. And these are all members of the 5th Division. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the Allied reinforcement phase. So next up we have Japanese chit draw. So there's only 2 Japanese chits left. We've just drawn the Japanese reinforcements. So we know that the remaining chit is their assault chit. So, okay, so Japanese reinforcements. Right, so we may bring up to 5 battalions. they've only lost 2 this time. Nothing from they haven't got any permanent losses. So these 2 must be brought back. Okay, so we actually have one that's from the blue division, okay, which is the 18th. Look at that unit, 18th division. So, the battalions can be brought back on a unit or transport from the same division that is within supply range of its divisional HQ. Alright, so their divisional HQ is at the top of the map here. So, as long as the unit's within the same division that is within supply range of its divisional HQ. Or a supply depot that is in Japanese control and able to provide some sort of supply. So they could be brought in, yeah, they can be brought in here. Ready to carry on their little... You know what, actually I'm going to bring them in here because of the Stillwell forces. There we go. And then there's a battalion which hasn't got a division. So where can these be brought in? Auxiliary battalions are placed on another auxiliary unit or a supply depot. Okay. Well, I might as well go and sit where they were lost from. There we go. Right. Other than that, there's no other Japanese losses. And there's no Japanese reinforcements this turn. And Japanese rail movement. All Japanese units and transporters that either occupy the reinforcement hex or a railway hex that can trace the route of contact along the railway. So we're looking at these guys here. This is the railway, this red line along here, which is now clear of the Chindits because the Japanese attacking their attack chit. They could move units all the way along this route if so required. But they've got no reinforcements this turn. Is there any need? I mean, this division could be moved back up there and leave this fight to the these non-divisionally aligned troops. So that's possible. I have to have a quick think about that. Well, as we know, the Allies are going to get more Chindit reinforcements. A whole brigade is sitting in their off-map airfield. That's intelligent, but the map shows it anyway. I think that regiment needs to stay on duty down this area. In fact, the Japanese might need more in this area. But they don't get that many reinforcements. The next reinforcement they get is on turn 4. So what? Quite a way away. Okay, so that is the end of the Japanese reinforcement chit. So over to the Allies. We've got their supply chit and their assault chit waiting to come. Let's have a look. We're on the Allied. Focusing. Assault chit. So I think I'll end this on as a reinforcements episode and do the Allied assault chit in a new video. So as always, hit the like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing, and any comments much appreciated as always. Until next time, thank you then, bye.